You're just not ready. It's too dangerous.
Welcome to Appalachia, Vault Dweller. Fallout 76's Wastelanders update radically changed the base game. So whether you're a brand new player or a returning adventurer giving it another go, there are some important things you'll want to know. Since the game doesn't always fully explain every little mechanic, we've made a list of 10 things that the game doesn't tell you, but can really help you out there in the wild. Whether you're making a new character or your very first one, it's important to know that almost none of your choices are permanent. You'll get a quick pop-up when you finalize character creation, but know that you can always change your appearance at any time from the menu, though you are stuck with your name. Perhaps more importantly, you can respec your character once you hit level 25. By that point, you'll have a better grasp on the perks you do and don't like, and you can use any of the game's punch card machines to reconfigure your stats. Speaking of stats, there is a limit on how high you can take your special scores. After level 50, you'll stop gaining new points to put into the 6 main stats, with a total of 56 points distributed across them. You cannot increase any single stat beyond a max of 15 either. This means you can't max out all 6, though respecing is always an option. You will, however, continue to unlock perk cards at every level up, and those can continue to buff your scores depending on what the specific card does. When it comes to picking perks at each new level, there's a feature that's really easy to miss. You are not required to pick a perk that matches the special stat you've just increased. So you could increase your strength but take a perk from the intelligence pile, for example. There's an option to tab through at the bottom of the screen, but this is not explicitly stated, so don't forget that your perk choice isn't restricted. So maybe you want to give yourself better lockpicking, but you can still buff an offensive stat if you know you're about to get into a fight. Speaking of combat, remember that crouching isn't just for sneaking. That's its primary use, yes, and getting a sneak attack means doing double damage, so don't shy away from being stealthy before the big battle begins. But don't forget to crouch in active combat sometimes too. Simply put, it makes it easier for you to aim your shots. The added stability does nothing for VATS, but it will help you manually fire from the hip or down sights. Moving from combat to resource gathering, keep an eye out for blue suitcases. These have infinite storage capacity, and as such, have become reliable spots for players to share their stuff. You see, many veterans are happy to offload weapons, ammo, or other items for lower level players. Any public container in the game will do, but blue suitcases are a general signal within the Fallout 76 community. You'll find them all across the game, primarily at train stations. Another part of the meta is determining where to place your camp. As you build the home base of your dreams, you might be primarily thinking of a cool spot or backdrop as the place to start. However, many players will encourage you to think more practically. Fast traveling to your own camp is free, so consider putting it in a central spot. If you're exploring the forest, for example, there's a bit of a location gap north of Vault 76. If you set up camp there, you have an easy spot to start exploring the northern forest or pushing further into Toxic Valley. Repair kits are pretty restricted in Fallout 76. They're not shareable between players, and they're only available via a few in-game methods. Their real benefit is being able to repair your gear without a workbench, and that's because you should be using scrap. You'll be primarily prompted to use repair kits at workbenches, but try not to use them there. Instead, spend your scrap to patch up whatever needs fixing. If the option isn't there, it's because you're lacking a certain resource. The important thing here is that you use repair kits sparingly, saving them for emergency fixes in the field. Sticking with junk, know that your scrap is always usable from your personal stash box. These can be found all across the map, and the same inventory will always be privately accessible by you, no matter where the box actually is. This means there's no need to carry around a ton of scrap with you, so store your junk whenever possible to save yourself the carrying capacity. B, whenever you're building in camp, your stash is automatically tapped into when consuming resources. There is no need to carry it all around on your back. The next tip is something that you'll find in all the modern Fallout games, but it's always good to have a refresher since 76 won't explicitly tell you. When hacking a computer, you can click on more than just passwords. Look for these little lines of text bookended by angled or squared brackets. Clicking on these can either remove a fake password from the list or restore your total number of attempts. Both make hacking a lot easier, regardless of the difficulty level. Finally, know that photo mode isn't just a fun way to share your experience on social media. Any photo you keep can also be used as a loading screen. You probably already have one from creating your Vault ID at the beginning of the game, but you can add as many as you want. Snap a few memories, and the game will periodically remind you of what's happened. You might have seen this in other Bethesda games like Starfield too. It's a nice way to be reminded of where your adventure started and how it's going. And we hope your adventure in Appalachia is going great. These tips should serve as a reminder for all players, regardless of how new they are to the game. If you're just starting Fallout 76 for the first time, head over to IGN for a bunch more help.